Minecraft is a game that has thousands of world record categories for players to compete in, but almost all of these insane records go unnoticed as there's only really a few main categories that the Minecraft community looks at as a whole. By far the most famous speedrun in all of Minecraft is the fastest time to beat the game, which requires you to kill the Ender Dragon in the shortest amount of time possible. In today's video, however, we're going to be looking at some of the more underappreciated world records, whether that be because of their extreme difficulty, advanced mechanics, or simply their insane speed. And with that being said, let's get into it. First things first, I want to talk about something you might not have expected to be mentioned, and this is TAS, more specifically in the area of bridging. If you're not aware, TAS stands for Tool Assisted Speedrunning. This means that certain modifications are made to the game itself, such as using a tick rate changer or a macro in order to make extremely difficult tasks a lot easier. This has become increasingly popular in the Minecraft bridging community, as bridging has almost entirely reached its mechanical peak, and players have started using TAS in order to try to improve the time as much as they can. The current world record for the normal mode on MC Play HD using TAS is a shocking 6.6 seconds, which is marginally faster than the world record of 7.4 with legit methods. This record is held by none other than Duga, who's often considered to be the best bridger of all time. However, on MC Play HD's short mode, the world record stands at a shocking 3.45 seconds with TAS compared to the 3.9 without TAS. This world record is held by a player named Helix, who's really well known for his ability to utilize TAS to its absolute maximum, and apart from his TAS bridging, Helix has also contributed a lot to the bridging community, as he's one of the main people who's helped make single player worlds for those who might be banned on some of the main servers. Both of these TAS world records are very impressive, but a lot of players don't really consider TAS to be actual world record tier, as it makes the game easier. So moving on into our next world record, we have Kaizek1234's absolutely phenomenal Castle Bedwars world record speedrun. In order to pull this off, a player named Torch hosted a party of 40 players who all queued onto the same team in Castle Bedwars, and when they got loaded into a game with only 17 opponents, getting the world record was almost a sure thing. You see, for most Bedwars speedruns, there has to be a minimum amount of players on the opposing teams, but for Castle Bedwars, this appears to not be the case, at least according to what I've seen. Regardless, they loaded into it, and the main strategy used here is that they split up the 40 players evenly between all 3 bases and rushed to break the beds as fast as physically possible. After this was done, of course, they just hunted down every single last enemy, which didn't take very long considering there were only 17. Their time of 1 minute and 51 seconds was a little over 7 seconds faster than the previous world record, which means of course that this record is now theirs. It should be credited, however, that the previous world record had a lot more opponents to kill. Regardless, both of these times are absolutely phenomenal, and Torch and Kaizek did an amazing job with their runs. Next up, we'll be taking a look at another bridging record, this one being the 1 stack on MC Play HD. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 1 stack? Really? World record? How hard could it be? And you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that, because 1 stack is honestly one of the easiest bridging methods to pull off, and there's such a minimal amount of differences you can make in the bridge that will actually count towards your time. The world record of 11.2 seconds was pulled off by Clutch CPS, and in order to do this, he used a slab strategy that was recently popularized in the 1 stack community, and this allows you to run up the corner of your island to shave off 0.25 seconds. As well as this, he utilized a ton of head hitters in his run, and each of these pulls off 0.1 seconds from your final time. Without the use of either of these advanced mechanics, the max time you can get is 12.05, but if we subtract the 0.25 and the 0.6 for all the head hitters, we're left with a final time of 11.2, which is the current world record. And now moving into a completely different side of Minecraft itself, we have Finebird's back-to-back world records in all advancement speedrunning. All advancement speedrunning is one of the hardest possible categories in the entire game, and is definitely underappreciated for that reason. It requires the speedrunner to beat all 80 advancements in the entire game of Minecraft in as short of a time as possible, and it requires an extremely thorough understanding of Minecraft's game mechanics and exactly how to perform them. Now, as I mentioned before, the reason that Fineberg's world records stand out so much more than anyone else's is because he kind of just said screw it and decided to take over the whole category. Over the past couple of months, Fineberg got a 3 hour and 33 minute time, and then got bored and decided to beat it again, getting 3 hours and 32 minutes, and finally just the other week, he was able to pull off a 3 hour and 29 minute time. Fineberg clearly excels at this category as well as several others, as he's one of the best speedrunners in the entire game, and for a player to even get back-to-back world records, let alone breaking the record 3 times in a row, is nothing short of outstanding. In my opinion, this is definitely one of the most underrated categories in the entire game, and I do know that compared to the bedwars and bridging records I talked about earlier in the video, this is definitely one that's a lot bigger and more popular, but I truly believe that just because of how advanced this run is, it deserves way more attention than it already has. And lastly, I wanted to talk about a pretty underrated world record on Hypixel, which is the most speed tellies in bedwars. This was done by a bridger named Enzoy, and he currently holds the world record at a shocking 15 speed tellies. Now, I know what you're thinking, haven't players done a lot more than that? And the answer would actually be no. The reason for this is that Hypixel's anti-cheat system often creates a lot of ghost blocks for players to bridge with, and forces them to fall into the void. Because of this, Enzoy's 15 speed tellies in a row without getting any lag is very surprising and definitely deserves the world record title. title. This world record will definitely be beaten though, as for those who can already speed telly, getting 15 speeds in a row is definitely possible. And with that being said, those are some of the most underrated Minecraft world records, so if you guys did end up enjoying, please do consider subscribing because we're so close to 20,000 subscribers, which is nothing short of insane. With that being said though, I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.